symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? The Job Guy's back with you one more time. Well, at least one of them. We got a new face over there. That is not Nick Hortz. That is Austin Sumowitz for life, my friend. Yes. Austin Sumowitz has joined us a few times in the past. Glad to have you back, buddy. And we normally have you when we're talking about AEW. And that is what we are going to do today. You are fresh off the boat, my friend. You just got back from All Out. You got the t-shirt on even. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, buddy, we're going to talk about that. And then obviously the huge news. But right off the gate, thanks for being here, man. And
absolutely. Love doing the show whenever you offer.
Yeah, buddy. So let's just, what was it like? It had to be weird. The vibe, I know they were there the night before, but still the pay-per-view audience, there had to be a weird atmosphere being that CM Punk just got let go.
So fun story, actually. My good friend Floyd, who I also do a podcast with, who's also a big AEW guy, he was there earlier because down in Schaumburg, they were doing an event called Starcast, which is basically their fan fest sort of thing. Yeah. So you meet wrestlers. There's a bunch of convention style stuffs and everything like that. So he was there from like Friday. Saturday, the entire place was in chaos because everyone was getting the notification on their phone that he'd been fired. And everyone was just like, oh my, if I wish I was there. Yeah. Just to see how everything flipped. And I plan on talking to him about it too when he gets back from Chicago, because he was at the event too. Okay. But from my experience, because I drove in the day of the show, I went there and I was wearing, I'll send you a picture actually. I was wearing an oversized CM Punk hockey jersey and this hat. Okay. I said straight up, I bought the jersey and I had planned to wear it at a show that he was going to be at. So I brought the jersey because I was like, I mean, he's gone. I might as well wear the jersey because I said I'm wearing this thing at a show. The vibe was very weird. But I would say overall, Chicago was like, he's gone. All right, it's done. We're watching the show. Yeah. I actually had a guy when I was walking into the stadium, walking into the arena, who claimed that his sign was taken away. That was a CM Punk sign. They were like, my sign was taken away, dude. We gotta take over. We gotta let these people hear it. And I was like, my cat just walked outside.
I was going to say, I think you had a ghost just open your door, but I saw the cat.
It was my cat. Across. Yeah. But no. So he told me that, and I was like, man, I don't want to do that. I just want to watch the show. I paid money to see the show. I'm going to enjoy the wrestling. To which he said I wasn't a true CM Punk fan because of that. And I'm like, yes, I spent over $120 on a hockey jersey with the guy's logo on it. I'm totally not a fan. Right. Everything was relatively chill though, up until the 8-man tag match with FTR and the Bucks versus Bullet Club Gold. When the Bucks came out, there was a definite feel of people that wanted to boo him. And I heard CM Punk chants start. Okay. But this is basically how it went. I would hear like a small group off to the side go like, CM Punk. By the time they get to the second CM Punk, you just hear, whoa! Yeah. Like people just like drowning them out. And like they were like, no, absolutely not. I know I didn't hear it when I was there, but I watched the show back and I saw the singing of the "Oh, Cry Me a River," which clever on them. Right. So it was definitely weird. Honest to God, dude, like I try to black out those 20 minutes of that match. I couldn't even enjoy the match in the moment because I was just like, this is just so tiring. Right. It's like, because it would be different if this was leading to a feud. Like if the fans are reacting like this, and then like it's leading to something. I'm like, oh my God, this could be the biggest thing in wrestling history. Yes. But he's fired. We know this isn't going to happen. Over. And we know that it wasn't even close to happening. So this is just pointless, toxic negativity taking away from what was overall a really good show considering all the stuff surrounding it. Yeah. I watched your Payback review where you said WWE had been on a string of like shows that were under the radar, but over delivered. Good. Yeah. Yeah. I felt the exact same way about this show. That's under the radar, a lot of stuff surrounding it behind the scenes, but the guys came out, the girls came out, they blew the roof off the place. I thought they did a great job though. Yeah, that's what everybody said, and especially the last 3 matches, everybody seemed to really enjoy. I want to ask you, what you mentioned
Today, Junior?
The way you felt and you didn't want to think about it. Is this kind of like a relief now that all right, this is over. We can move on now. We never have to think about this again. Is it kind of like a breath of fresh air relief kind of thing? You know what I mean?
Kind of.
As a fan.
Yeah, as a fan of CM Punk, when the news first broke, honest to God, dude, I was heartbroken. Because I was just like, I thought we could do business. I thought we could have just made this work. Because at the end of the day, I say this. I know your boy was he used to say this, but he disagreed now. He's like, I still believe wrestling is better is when CM Punk is in it.
Yeah.
Just because of the eyes that he brings and the noise that he makes.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, though, it was clear that we weren't getting to where we were wanting to go. And I said, like, that second coming, if you're doing that, you have to have the Elite versus CMFTR. And they weren't close.
Right.
So if you weren't going to get that, I straight up believe he shouldn't have been brought back in the first place. As somebody who enjoyed everything that Punk was doing,
right,
going full NWO with the Real World Championship, which I loved. I thought that was great. Him hulking it up. And like, I mean, he was basically trying to lead the witness of like, turn me heel so we can do this.
Right.
Whether it be like his interactions with fans after the show went off the air, where he'd call out Hangman, call out the Bucks.
Right.
This guy was trying to make this feud happen, and it just was never going to. And quite frankly, I think at that point he was like, almost like, fire me. Like, like I'm giving you a reason to fire me.
I think he did, to be honest with you.
He did.
I mean, I really do. And I think, I mean, maybe he is nuts. We don't know. He probably is.
I like you, but you're crazy.
I think he is a little bit nuts. As somebody who likes him, he's a little bit nuts.
Yeah, you got to be nuts to be a wrestler to begin with. But yeah, I think he's got to screw loose a little bit. Like, he can't let anything go. But I had people right away tell me that he's trying to get fired. And I kind of thought that as well. I'm like, with all this stuff he kept doing, like you said, calling out the Bucks afterwards and Hangman and whoever else. I'm like, is he? Like,
and then we heard
trying to get them to let him go.
We heard the report too that came out like after All In that a meeting was set up for the Bucks,
right,
the Elite, the entire Elite meeting up with CM Punk and Tony Khan. Mm-hmm. That was a report that came out, and it was canceled, and it wasn't, and it was on the Elite side of things. So again, it's like, well, we're back at square one.
Right,
we're nowhere closer.
When I heard that Tony, and we didn't know the extent. And first, before I say that, I don't know what to believe with any of the reports. I mean, read them, but I take them like, all grain of salt, because you hear something, especially with this, it was the Punk side got out first. So then you kept hearing, oh, well, Punk only did this and Jungle Boy started it all. And then you get the Jungle Boy side. Oh no, Punk put him in a face lock and all that. I'm like,
it was Limp Bizkit, a whole bunch of he said, she said BS. And
right.
Quite frankly, I don't care who started it, because the whole thing, it was overusing real glass in a wrestling segment. This stuff isn't that deep.
Well, let's be honest. Jungle Boy doesn't rub anybody the wrong way. If you got a problem with Jungle Boy, chances are you're the problem.
You know, as soon as I heard like monitors fell on Tony, well, like, all right, well, if Tony, that's when I knew there could really be trouble. Now I don't know. My life was in danger. I'm not quite sure it was that serious, as anybody who has heard me or see me tweet said. If your life was in danger, why didn't you kick him out of the building right that second? Like, what are we doing here?
Why did you need an investigation if you were present for the whole thing?
Right.
Someday I'm gonna kick your
Yeah, tell me about what we just talked about, the shooting on each other. Now, I don't like CM Punk. On record forever,
he's an idiot.
I don't like how he shoots all the time. This was a different kind of shooting, though, here since he has come back. The after the cameras are off kind of deal, and all the stuff he was saying. He was calling Hangman couldn't sell toys and all of this. I saw his at a thrift store yesterday. I just want to tell you, CM Punk, that is. Why do you think he was doing that? And why was it allowed? Because that all of that just made it worse. And then you see today, you got the Bucks on Being the Elite or whatever it was on, and Kenny drinking a Pepsi and throwing up or whatever he was doing. Like, why was this allowed if they were never going to fight? Why didn't Tony say anything? Hey, shut up, dude. You're not helping. Why did they let it go this far?
Well, I mean, you could trace back to after the Elite came back from the suspension from All Out, and they were wrestling in Chicago after AEW Full Gear, and they were, I mean, biting of the arm by Kenny Omega, the Punk botched lariat that Matt Jackson did, the go to sleep motion from Kenny, and hitting the GTS.
Right.
I mean, no side is clear on this whole matter because everyone was just like taking pot shots when they could. Now,
why didn't Tony end that?
That's the thing though. I think in Tony's mind, he's like, oh, so they know that we need to do this feud, and they're trying to set things up for when Punk eventually comes back. And then no one would talk to anybody because when you do stuff on television, you're trying to because this is being presented to the audience, and the way that the audience sees this is that these two people have problems. It's only a matter of time before they get in a ring and settle it.
Well, yeah, I guess
it never came to fruition. And also, I mean, everybody involved, everybody, my side of things, again, I don't like taking sides. I love Punk, but CM Punk, the Bucks, everybody, they're very petty, and they're very, very petty. And
that's straight.
And straight up, dude, it's like there was no feeling of Tony Khan was active. He was trying to lead them to be like, guys, come on, let's talk this out. But there was no you sit down, sit down. We're dealing with this now because I want to make money. Y'all should want to make money.
Right.
We're dealing with this now, or else we're never going to get this situated. This thing festered for so long. I feel like this could have all been settled after Double or Nothing when Hangman and Punk had their problems.
Right.
But it never got solved. Punk went out with injury. It could have been solved when Punk was dealing with his injury.
Sure.
Nothing. It was festering and festering and festering, and it just. I love AEW, but Tony Khan, he's going to eventually take the fall on this because you hired Punk, you brought him back, and when you do this stuff, I like to think that things are going to be okay. They weren't. They never were.
Right. And that's why I don't blame Jungle Boy at all, because he's 12 years old or whatever he is. I don't know what is he, 25? I don't know what he is.
I think he's around my age.
He's got these 40-year-olds out there who are supposed to be the example, and they're out there taking shots at each other nonstop. Well, that's the culture now. So he did the same thing. Punk pissed him off, so he said something in the camera. They do it. Why can't I do it? It's their freaking fault this happened. They set that standard, every single one of them. And the EVPs of the company and the guy who's running Saturday night, both leaders of both shows did it. So why can't Jungle Boy? And I don't blame him at all. Now, I blame him for wanting to go through glass like a moron, but they did this to themselves. And that's what I don't understand. And I don't know. I just don't know. And I mean, this is so, and I saw some people saying, oh, you can't ever compare this. I'm not saying it's the exact same thing, but this is so WCW to me as far as the stuff in the back. Guys running the show. And it wasn't just Hogan. It's always Hogan. No, it wasn't just Hogan. This goes back to NWA when Dusty was booking. Dusty always put over Dusty. Flair when he had the book. Kevin Nash when he had the book. All the guys, dudes were in charge. It just doesn't work. The inmates running the asylum over here and guys getting to do whatever they want and getting away with it. That led us to what happened Saturday, a week ago, Sunday. I should say, hopefully this is the wake up call for Tony. All right, I have to do different things now, or I have to start running things different. But I don't know if he can, to be honest with you, because he's got Fulham and the Jaguars and everything else he's doing. He's got to have somebody doing other things for him. I just don't know if you need the wrestlers doing it, the active wrestlers.
Right. And again, it's going to feel it's like a lot of people are going to look at it in a weird way when friends of the Young Bucks and the Elite, Christopher Daniels, is head of talent relations. Right. And you there's the, and I will tell you the one thing. He's not
allowed to be there on Saturday.
Well, I will tell you this right now. I can tell you straight up is that I think as somebody who loves CM Punk, he's one of the most paranoid people in the world.
You scared, ain't you?
I understand why he is, but at the same time, like, take a step back at the same time, I feel like. But this man has been stabbed in the back in his career so many times that basically he wants to turn around and punch first before anybody gets the chance.
Sure.
So when he's like, oh, Christopher Daniels, you were in SCU. You were doing stuff on the Young Bucks YouTube show. Same thing with Ryan Nemeth. Was like, I'm not even going to bother with you people right now. He was basically like, I'm jumping ahead of the issue right now. You're going to let this show be my show. You can't be ruining this locker room like you do the other one. This is the way that his mind was working on that. And again, I said all the time, you know who can stop that? Tony Khan.
Right.
If Tony Khan needs Ryan Nemeth for whatever reason for something on Collision, or if he needs CD to be there, to be head of talent relations and to do his job, which again, the fact the head of talent relations can't be backstage at one of your main shows is insanity. He can be. No, you can't do that. You can't just be like, he can't come here. He can't come here. I've said the biggest problem this whole thing was that TK was placating everybody. He wanted everybody to be happy. He wanted everybody to get what they wanted. There was no compromise. Yeah. But at the same time, the wrestling industry is filled with egos.
Yep.
And you can't placate egos and expect everything to go along swimmingly. Even if you do end up just trying to bury the hatchet, things will flare up. Things flare up. And
dude, here's the problem to begin with. Even, you can't be here on Saturday. There shouldn't have been a Saturday show. There shouldn't have had to be. Okay, this is the Punk show. You know what I mean? Like that should have never even been. That's what started it to begin with.
And now that show is basically a ship without a captain.
Right.
Because it's just like I enjoyed Collision. I really did. I thought it did a great job of separating itself from the way Dynamite was structured and the type of wrestling you see and the guys that you would see. I love that we got to see more looks at guys like Ricky Starks, like Miro, like Powerhouse Hobbs, like all these guys. Bullet Club Gold is like literally night and day. I've watched Jay White and Juice Robinson when they were in New Japan. They've never been this big. They have never been this big, and they've always been talented, but the stuff that they've been doing has been spectacular, and that show helped them out tremendously. But you should have been able to do that on Dynamite because you should have been able to have all these guys be on the same show.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. And that's the biggest thing. I don't know who came up with it, how it happened, whatever it happened. I'm sure Tony's going to take more time if TBS is offering it, TNT, whatever. But
that doesn't mean you have to split the locker rooms.
Right. Hey, we're going to give Punk his own show. No, you're going to be on this show and you're going to go work it out with those guys, or at least come to some sort of truce. Hey, I'll stay on the left side of the building. You stay on the right side, whatever. Because that's the way it's been forever. That's the way it's been. There has been fighting in wrestling since
in sports and anything.
Lewis, like there's been fighting for 100 years, and Brett and Sean worked it out. if those two worked it out, come on. I mean, it's just kind of crazy to me. And it also tells me, though, that they haven't learned anything, because right away at Collision or whatever it was, the Bucks did their victory lap.
Yeah.
Your boy right there came walking out the other night doing this, and he's got gun charges also. He should probably be a Girl Scout right now. Like, he should be on his best stinking behavior right now. But instead, he's coming out doing this. So
he just was supporting Black Panther. That's all. That's all he was doing.
Wakanda. Yeah. They didn't learn anything. I just
straight up. The only thing I would say about the FTR side of things of that stuff. Yeah. Well, they're his boys, but they weren't involved in any of this either.
Right.
When Brawl Out happened a year ago, they were already out of the building.
Right.
They weren't even there.
I wasn't even there.
They've said on multiple accounts, all we know is what people have said and what we've heard. That's all we know.
But what we do know is they do not get along with the Young Bucks. They are working together. We know that. But
they're able to do it without, they're able to do business even if they don't like them.
Right.
They are able to do what they know is best for business. That's why they were teaming with the Bucks at All Out this past Sunday, and they were trying to literally this was the biggest thing of we're working it out, guys. Can we stop fighting, please? Can the fans stop going after each other?
Right.
Like of them doing each other's tag team finishing moves with each other. Like they were trying to like do that right there.
Mhm.
Like to just set it off and be like, we're done with this straight up. But
just you're poking the bear. And now there's a new bear that there wasn't there when Sean and Brett, called, Twitter and other social media and everything. And it gets people like us talking, and it gets, and we're real media members. And then it gets the fake media, and it gets the wrestling media. And then it gets every Tom, Dick, and Harry with a Twitter page, and they all start talking. And, and maybe something that they didn't even, when you see it nonstop, look at all the wrestlers today that we're talking about All Out. Johnny Hungy being the biggest one, just going off on people because you said this pay-per-view didn't have any build. We put on a great show, and he's MFing fans left and right. And it's like, you hear stuff and then it comes out. So it's like, don't even give anybody any ammo, man. Well, and I say that goes for this and the victory lap and all that stuff too. Like, because then their fans are going to see it. And then their fans are going to retweet it and talk about it and show the video and do it. And it just gets
and that's another thing. That's another thing that's the biggest problem with that right now is that is the parasocial level of this with fans. Because I straight up right now, do I lean one way? Absolutely. I'm a CM Punk guy. I was a CM Punk guy long before AEW was even a thing. But I was also on AEW's team. Like I was on the AEW team before they had a TV deal. So I like I said, I have no dog in this fight. I love everybody involved, but there are fans who have this weird parasocial feeling with wrestlers where it's like you met them at a meet and greet maybe once or twice and you're best friends.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You are wrestling fans.
At all. Yeah.
You are wrestling fans. There may be like one or two rare instances. Like I have a good friend of mine who her name's Tiffany. She is so close with Cody Rhodes. She was at his wedding.
No doubt.
Like, so she's a rare instance where like, she actually knows Cody outside of wrestling. So that's a rare instance. Most of y'all, you're not these people's friends. You don't, you don't know them. And fans, when they see stuff like this, it's fuel for their fire to just have these two camps going at it constantly. And it does no good. If this was leading to a feud, like I said before, it would be a different story because then it would build hype. It would build interest. You'd get a money draw out of it. And then you have a match to blow everything off. And then you can then you make bank. But there's nothing here. He's fired. He's gone. So let's stop. Let's stop.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I don't understand any of that. I don't know what good you think it's going to do. If it is over and he's gone, and Mark Henry said today on Busted Open, the problem's gone. The problem's gone. It's over. Like, okay, well then it's over. Be done with it.
So then that's the thing.
He got fired. You won.
Exactly.
So go do something else.
And then I don't, from that point onward too, I don't want to hear any more stuff come out about there's a drama issue in AEW's locker room. Because supposedly y'all cut the cancer out.
Right.
So if the cancer's gone, I don't want to see symptoms that are still happening when you seem to have cured everything.
Right.
That's the biggest thing of it. And it's just, and the way the fans were acting at All Out, like I said, I didn't take part in any of it. You can literally ask my sister who was sitting right next to me. I was just like looking down. I was not saying a word because I knew if I even piped up a second, I made the joke. I was wearing basically the physical embodiment of a kick me sign.
Yeah, you had a target.
Yeah. So if I say anything, just like people, even if I'm in his hometown, it doesn't matter. And if I wasn't in his hometown, oh dear God.
Yeah.
Like I'm asking to get hurt.
I was going to say there were CM Punk signs that got taken. The one sign that didn't get taken in the front row, Tony Khan cured cancer. That one I did see on TV.
That spelled his last name wrong too.
Well, yeah. What was it? Was it mostly still Punk fans or was it AEW? Hey, no, we're team.
I would say, I say the crowd was pretty much like 75% AEW, like 25% CM Punk.
Okay.
There were people that were making fake reports saying that fans were being told to wear their CM Punk merchandise inside out. As a guy who wore this hat as a guy who wore this hat in that jersey, nobody said a word to me.
Yeah.
Nobody
did see
said
a video
anything
of a girl getting her sign back from like the front desk or the ticket office or something. I saw that.
Yeah.
So
but
they
again,
were taking them.
There was a girl on Collision who had a sign basically that said "Bye Phil Isha."
That's it. That's the one
that was the one that got taken. It was a good. I give it word. I will always credit wordplay. And then best day ever. Which, hey, I'm happy she's happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, her signs got taken. I know. And it's mostly just like, if you're like supporting the Bucks and everything like that, they're fine with it. But if you're just trying to like dog on him at that point, they want it to go away.
Sure.
But
the
funny thing is they want it to go away. But then you have that, and then also you have TK doing a terrible job of damage control.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Last thing before we get specifically straight into Punk here for the last minute or two, where do they go now? Like we said, is it a breath of fresh air? What do you see happening?
I
now?
hope so.
Does it go back to like 2019 AEW, or what's happening here? Well, with the company real quick.
Yeah. The one thing I would say is that at least coming off of All Out, the future, it still looks bright for this company. I will say that, because that show was really, really good. Like, I had a blast. I had a blast throughout that entire show. Danielson and Ricky Starks killed each other in the strap match. Kenny Omega and Takeshita, another great match. Even the match that I blacked out for, like watching it back, it was a good match despite the fact that the crowd was losing their mind. Plus, I mean, I don't know if you said you haven't seen the show.
I have not seen it. No.
When you get to Powerhouse Hobbs versus Miro, the added element of the crowd in that, I don't want to spoil it for you.
Okay.
But the added element of that crowd was just fantastic, and it added a new level, and like it literally became.
I heard. Yeah, the meat.
Meat. So good.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's still, like, again, AEW's roster is still got so much talent on it. And I think there's still great opportunities for stories. The stuff they've been doing with Better Than You, Bebe has been absolutely fantastic. And I think there's still absolute like ways that these guys can go about it where they can still do good business. I mean, they're still riding high off of 81,000 people in Wembley Stadium. And for a company that's only been existed for 5 years, like max, that's a huge accomplishment. And they announced they're doing it again next year. So I like to think the future's bright, but the future will only be bright if they just stop talking about this. You did your victory laps.
Right.
You said your goodbyes. We're good.
Done with it.
Yeah. But the problem is we're not done if Punk ends up coming out and saying shit.
Yeah. So, well, which it's only a matter of time.
It's only a matter of time, guys. The pipe bomb's ticking.
We only have a couple of more minutes here, so let's talk about Punk. You obviously are a massive Punk fan. I never have been. I never got it. I never understood it. Tell me why, right out of the gate, WWF days or whatever, even before he came here, why? What was it about this dude that it's not just you? Obviously, this dude has legions of fans. What is it about this dude?
It was the fact that he was never supposed to get to where he got to. This was a guy who was a punk rock kid who started as a backyard wrestler, who wrestled in barnyards, who wrestled for Ring of Honor, and was always viewed as an internet darling and was never supposed to get as big as he got. And yet, through his work ethic, through his ability to talk people into a building, through his very solid sound wrestling ability, he persevered in an era where the top of the card was dominated by John Cena, Triple H, Randy Orton, all of these guys that were like said names, and Punk was able to get himself into that conversation, holding the WWE Championship for a record 434 days at the time. And then at the same time, finding ways to set the wrestling world on fire just by talking into a microphone and saying things that people never heard before. He in many different ways, like, blazed the trail. I like the line I still love from his now infamous promo battle with Hangman Page was, "This company that you guys found only happened because I gave you the blueprint."
Right.
And I honest to God, dude, like, and he beats to his own drum. It's admirable. I know it pisses a lot of people off. And I've never once come to anybody and been like, you need to like CM Punk.
Right.
How can you not like CM Punk? He's the greatest ever. I'm very aware why people don't like this man. The things that people don't like about this man are the same things that people love about this man.
Right. That's what's so crazy.
He's extremely polarizing. You're not polarizing. You don't sit on the fence with this man. You either love him or you don't. That's the thing that I do enjoy about him, because it makes for fun conversation. But then also, I grew up, I'll get slightly personal on this. I grew up and I had a family, extended family, I would say, that had addiction problems. And I grew up in high school. And, you know, when you get in high school, you go to dances and you see people spiking punch bowls and people talk about, I can't wait to find a way to get alcohol and stuff like that. And I was looking at it like, I don't need, like, what? Like, I don't understand it at all. I never got the appeal. I never understood it. So I was always just like, I mean, I guess this is just what people do. And then I see this guy, a tatted up, scrawny white boy from Chicago with long hair, saying, no, I don't do any of that. And straight up, like, he holds that as a badge of honor, and would get to points being like, I'm better than you because I don't do this. And I was like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And I've never drank, I've never smoked, I've never done drugs. So he was the coolest dude in the world to me. And he's been very cool to me. I've met him on 3 separate occasions, and he's always been kind. He's always been super sweet. I've never had an issue with him. And he's just done a lot for me as a wrestling fan. I thought wrestling would have been a fad for me until he sat on that stage in Las Vegas. That just kicked another gear into me, because then I discovered Ring of Honor. Then I discovered New Japan. And then all of a sudden, my view of wrestling changed. And I think for somebody to change the way you view wrestling in a positive way will always be looked at, for me, as somebody who has done amazing things in his business. I know some people don't think he's the greatest of all time, and I'll say straight up, he's my greatest because of the things that he's done for me. I can understand why he's not anybody else's. I know you mentioned the tweet saying he's not even top 100.
30, but yeah.
Yeah, but regardless, it's like, he still, like, it's an unfortunate byproduct of him. We should be talking about All In and 81,000.
Right.
But because of the way this man is and the way that he just absolutely controls the conversation, people just want to talk about him. And I don't know anybody else who can do that.
You obviously stayed with him after last year, whatever, Brawl Out. Yeah. And now this is Brawl In, whatever. How about when it happened here again? What were your thoughts? Again, we got to go. We only got like 4 minutes here.
Sure.
What did you think after that? Were you just like, oh crap, that's it? Or
no, I didn't think it was going to be it though. When the stuff came out about TK, I'm like, okay, this could be a legitimate problem. I still was fired because I never thought to get to this point. But I thought it was a stupid thing to fight over. I thought Jack Perry's reasoning of like, I want to use real glass was like dumb. Like, again, like what's the point? There's no reason for it. And again, he's a young wrestler. So like, you know, he's going to have his beliefs, but Punk has his, and he's very adamant about his. I thought it was a dumb thing to fight over. And I think it was the dumb thing that started this, which I mean, like, things have been building because he's a Rosita boy. He's a California boy. He's a Young Bucks boy. So like, all of a sudden there's problems there because again, you never addressed this.
Right.
So, I mean, it just seemed like, again, this second coming to me, it just felt like a waste. I enjoyed everything that Punk did, his Samoa Joe matches, his Real World Championship stuff, the things that he said. His "What are you so mad about?" was so funny to me that he said after the show. I thought that was so funny. But it was a waste because you never did what this was supposed to be for, which was CMFTR versus the Elite.
So you're still with him though. Your team, you're still
straight up though, I will say I love the Young Bucks. I love Kenny Omega. I love Hangman Adam Page. I like Jungle Boy. I do. I'm team wrestling, but I'm not turning on CM Punk if that's what the thing. But I'm not turning on AEW either. Yeah. I like what I like, and I don't feel the need to be like throwing this guy out. Like, let's see. I'd have to throw this away. 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 Like, it's not going to happen. You know,
there's got like Hulk Hogan for me, right? I'm older than you. Hulk Hogan is the greatest wrestler of all time, and it's not even close. But Terry Bollea is kind of an idiot.
Parents are probably idiots too.
But you don't know Terry Bollea. You know Hulk Hogan, which is why you love him. I don't know Phil Brooks. I know CM Punk, and I love CM Punk. I don't know anything about Phil Brooks.
But it seems to me we have found out a lot about Phil Brooks through the years. It seems to be, you know what I mean? So I just didn't know if that wavered. Like, I don't like Hogan as much as I used to. He's still Hulk Hogan, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard with some of the stuff he has done to be like, yeah,
I just and with that, honestly, I just look back at the good memories. I watched back my video of me freaking out when he returned at the first dance, and I just smile because that kid was so happy. Like I cried when he came out. It was that first year when he was back, best year of wrestling in my life. Nothing's going to beat that. Straight up. Is it tampered? Is it like, is there a bit of a cloud over it? Yeah, that's going to be the case regardless. But I tend to look at it as like, I never thought he was coming back in the first place.
Right.
So I'm grateful for all the memories that I got on this run, no matter how chaotic and how controversial and how ugly it got. I never thought I was getting this in the first place. So straight, I love the guy, and I just love watching him wrestle. I'm sad I can't watch him anymore, but
30 seconds. Is he done, or is he showing up in WWE?
I don't know if he's done. Like, he could go to Japan if he wanted to, but I don't think he's going to WWE. I think there's just too much baggage, and there's just no reason for it, I think, because I think age has caught up to him a little bit, and I think it would be better if he'd be happier if he was with AJ and Larry. That's all I'll say. I think keep it at that. Post about hockey on Instagram. I'm all good.
Well, and I've always said if he does, they're going to job him out. Like Roman should squash him or something. And I think that's what they would do with him. But
then maybe I'll get a cool podcast after that then. I'll take that.
That's right. That's right. Hey, always appreciate it, buddy. Glad you had a good time out there. We will talk to you again soon. As always, thank you so much for watching, listening, whatever. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. We appreciate every one of you. And leave a comment if you want to do that as well. Till next time, Job Guys out.
Pleasure's all yours, Bucky boys.